Hi everyone, it's Brian from McDuff's, and today I'm going to share with you my watch list for an upcoming auction, which will end on December 19th. And if you know anything about any of the items that I'll be showing you today, feel free to leave me a comment. I'm always interested in learning more about some of the things that I buy, and I do my research on them, but it's hard to be an expert on everything. So let's take a look at the first item we have up that I'm looking at. It's a set of double six Dominoes. It's a vintage set. Don't believe these sell for a whole lot. They're probably in the $20 range, but there were no bids on them yet. So hopefully, if they would just go for the minimum, then it'd be certainly worth picking up. And here's a ceramic English pipe. These, once again, it's hard to find the exact one, but I believe that this one would sell also in the 20, maybe the high 20s and low 30s. So once again, no one's bid on it, so hopefully it'll stay that way, and I'll be able to pick that up and sell it quickly. This is a lot more valuable than it looks like. It's a vintage safety razor. If you know anything about razors, you go back in time, there would be a razor would be a blade on both sides of it. It would go inside of this, and then you'd tighten it up around the collar there and snug it down, and you'd be able to shave with it. The blade would, show itself, just the edge would just show itself, and you could shave, I guess, a lot more safely. But these, I've seen this exact same one had sold online for a couple $100, like $200-300. So there were no bids on it yet, so hopefully if I can get that one for cheap, it'll be a really a nice score right there. And this one came from New York. It's patented from a company called Kampf Brothers in New York. So hopefully it'll sell and get a nice price. It looks like it's in pretty good condition with a little bit of rust, it looks like, around the collar where you would tighten up the razor. This is a bullet lighter. It looks like it's made out of an actual bullet. So hopefully that'll go. I couldn't find one exactly like it. It could be made to look this way. When I get it, I'll find out. But I just thought it was pretty cool. And I'll put a new flint in there and some fuel, make sure everything's working. And it also comes with an American Eagle Zippo lighter, which is not worth a whole lot on its own. And here's another lighter. This one's called the visible lighter, and you can see on the right side where the lighter is, it's got a clear plastic case, and then the top, of course, would be made out of metal. And you can see all the workings on the inside. In the description from the auctioneer, it said that it had not been used. It looks like it even comes with a little bit of fuel in there too, so I don't want to even try and put it together and all that, because then you can't really sell it as a new item. And I like how they spelled the word lighters, L-I-T-E-R. Here's a set of vintage cookbooks. A couple of them are from Frankenmuth, Michigan. The woman that's on the cover of two of the books on the rear left, she actually, her family owned one of the larger restaurants and inns in Frankenmuth, Michigan. It's a large complex. It's a fun place to stay. The food is wonderful, and she made a number of cookbooks, and that's two of them right there. She just recently passed away. She was over 100 years old when she passed away. And then there's the ones I'm really interested are the three cookbooks on the front left, the Better Homes New Cookbook, and then the one just called Christmas Cookery. I don't know anything about that one. Those will be probably the more valuable, the old vintagey ones. The other ones on the right, I don't really think there's a lot of value there. Those will probably end up at the flea market. Here's some antique or vintage photos. Depends on how old some of them are. Some of them look like they're more than 100 years old, especially the ones in the front there, the smaller ones. And there's a couple wedding portraits as well. This is a toothpick you might carry around with you instead of having the little wooden ones that come in a shot glass when you leave a restaurant. Well, this is actually, people would carry one of these around with them to, get the food between their teeth out, and then you'd put it away. I don't know if it has a separate cover or if you just turn that, pull the pointy part out and put it back inside of the handle. It kind of looks like you would do that, but there's no way to really know. They didn't show a picture of it put away. So that is just an interesting item. It looks like the handles might be like mother of pearl or something, but I'll have to see when I get a better picture of it. Hopefully I'll win it. And then this one's a little bit more macabre. It's a photo of a child's funeral. This would be something that was popular to do, early, 1800s when they invented photography in the mid-late 1800s into the early 1900s. When everybody get together for any kind of event, they would take photos of, even if it was a funeral. And there is quite a market for this kind of photography on eBay. People buy all sorts of interesting photos of kind of, things we don't like to necessarily think about. So hopefully we'll find a good buyer for this one, as well as the other ones with the wedding and everything like that. Here's some. I realize I misspelled the word up the top. It says SnapOn. It's supposed to say Matco. This is what happens when you allow autocorrect to take over. It takes over our lives. But there's SnapOn and Matco tools, and they do have some surface rust on them, but sometimes you can remove that with some WD-40, and it'll come right off, and polish them up. And SnapOn tools sell very well. Here's a rigid multiple battery charger. Rigid, at least when this was made, they had basically two sizes of batteries, and you could charge either one on either side of the charger. I actually have a single one of these that I use for my own tools, and works. This one, and the description says it works, and they sell for around $50 each. It's a lot cheaper than buying a new one. And you see it's got some use to it and everything, but hey, as long as you can charge your batteries, that's the most important thing. And now I have two sets of machinist tools here. This one's got some smaller calipers and some, I believe there's maybe thickness gauges or something. It's hard to tell from the picture. And there's some, maybe a compass or two in there, and a manual. And then the other set has more calipers and gauges and measuring devices there as well too. The one on the left, that caliper on the left, looks really interesting. It's quite a large one for, I guess, measuring large pieces of metal. See what their thickness is. Here's a Matco Professional Enhanced Scan Tool. This would be the thing that you can use to diagnose when your car has that check engine light that comes on. This will give you a code that you can look up, and it'll tell you where the error is coming from. You can also use it to reset those codes. So, once you fix the problem, otherwise it'll just come, the light would just come right back on after a little while. So that's probably about $100 item there or so. And then here's an original Xbox. It comes with two controllers. It in the description said everything's working, so I'll have to see if I have some Xbox games here to check it myself. And then this was pretty interesting to me because I'm kind of a computer geek, and I remember this campaign from Apple. They had a whole campaign. I want to say it was in the 90s. It could have been earlier. It was called Think Different, and they were trying to show that you don't have to follow the crowd and get a Windows computer. You can use a Mac and think more creatively, and you can see that some of the people that they have pictured in here, they have John Lennon and Yoko Ono and Einstein, and looking here, we got Jim Henson and Picasso, and maybe that's Jane Goodall down there. It's hard to tell. Gandhi, Amelia Earhart, and so it's just interesting. The posters, it said it was part of a press kit, but I don't know. It's hard because the posters that you would have seen in the store were probably much larger. These only look like they're maybe 11 by 14s or something like that. So, but either way, they're pretty cool. They look like they're in really good condition, and they do sell for a lot of money, especially the Einstein one. That one sells for the most. I think for the whole set, I saw one sell for $1,100, but we'll wait and see if that happens. Yeah, but it may not. They're probably just very cool, and they may have a lot of them. So once I do a little bit more research on them, I'll see if I can, how much they'll be worth in the end. Here's a small brass coffee grinder. I'm going to be bidding on this one. It's just an interesting little novelty. I don't know that it actually works, but I know that little drawer will come out. So I suppose you could grind if it's got a a grinder in there. You could maybe put a couple beans in there at once and make a really small cup of coffee. Here's some pewter figures from 1976. And the one on the right, the Liberty Bell, is actually a pencil sharpener. So you can sharpen your pencil on the Liberty Bell. And this is one of the items I was hoping to maybe get some help on. The description said U.S. pilots Vietnam-era survival knife marked Japan. And I'm thinking that if there was any standard issue survival knives, that they would not be from Japan, during the Vietnam era, but that maybe this was something that, someone in the military took with them on a mission. Let's say they were a pilot or something like that. Maybe they took their own personal one on a mission or something like that. Because to me, it doesn't seem like it would be a Japanese-made knife for the U.S. military. So if you know anything, let me know. Put something in the comments, and you can tell me all about it. I really don't know, but it is a very cool looking knife. As well as this one. This one is just just a regular pocket knife you might take with you. It's marked Japan. It doesn't look nearly as old as the other one, just by judging what the box is made out of and everything. It does have a lot of wear on it, so we will see how that one turns out. And then this is probably the most valuable of all the knives. It's a Buck 105 knife. It's got the leather sheath, and the blade is 4.5 inches long. So it's probably the most valuable knife. I've seen them sell for over $300 each. So let's hope and get that kind of money for this thing. And then I'm also going to be bidding on the supply of insulin syringes, and they do sell regularly. These exact ones, they're all sealed and everything like that. So it's a pretty good deal. I'll be selling them. I'm not going to ask a whole lot for them, especially if I don't have to pay a lot for them. And hopefully I'll be able to help somebody out, because the prices are kind of all over the place. Like for one of those boxes, I believe the sale price on eBay was around $130. So I don't think I'd probably be selling them by each one of those packs, assuming they're all the same. And then here's a Sega Genesis 3 console with games. This one has a lot of interest already. The auction is still 2 days off, and the bids are over $60. So, I can see why, because there's a lot of games that come in the slot. It says lots of game cartridges. The ones in the middle do not have the cases, though, so they're not going to be quite as valuable as the ones with the box and all that. And I'm looking at some of the ones with the box, and they're not the greatest games, like Clue and Risk and things like that. Those are not the ones that sell, really quickly. So we'll see if I can get that one for a good price, and probably sell everything individually. And then here's a vintage tackle box. I love buying vintage tackle, because you can sell each of those things individually, like the bobbers and stuff like that. Those usually end up in the trash can. They're not really worth a whole lot. They're not worth anything, actually. But any of the lures, those are the things that are worth the most money. And the box itself sells for about $35. And then I've got some kitchenware here that I'm looking at. And the set of bowls in the middle and the ice bucket on the right are the most valuable things. The two carafes really aren't worth a whole lot. They're nice to have, but they're not, one of them looks like it might be from the 80s or something like that. But they're just very interesting pieces. I sell a lot of ice buckets. It sounds kind of weird, but when I get one of those ice buckets, especially the one with the little penguins on the side, that one sells right away. And then here's an item that was probably made for the tourist market in Japan. It's they're calling it a Matchbox, and it has I've seen lots of the pictures of these, and they're all pretty much the same scene, but they're all made a little bit differently. There's always going to be a water wheel with the home or the house in there, and the two figures on the left side, and then some greenery. There's some variation on that all the time. So these were probably made for the tourist market. You could bring something nice home and show your friends and say, hey, I was in Japan recently. And then here's a Nintendo, like accessories for a Nintendo system. It's got the Duck Hunt controller, the game. There's a couple of the actual game controllers. Those sell very quickly. This will all be parted out. I don't know about that power pad, if that's going to be a big seller or not. I'll have to look into that one specifically. But I've sold lots of video games and controllers, so those I know will go pretty quickly. And then here's some vintage fishing lures. Well, they're not lures, they're flies. And then the lures at the top, the boxes, they're just boxes, there's nothing in them. So I'm not really sure if it'd be, I mean, I can try and sell all three of them, but I don't really know if the boxes really have any value or not. They could. I know the flies will. They look like they may have been homemade or purchased by someone who just makes flies specifically. They're pretty nice looking ones. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. That is the last item I have that I'll be bidding on, and then I'll give you a full report after Tuesday the 19th sometime, after the things that I actually win. Sometimes the prices go higher than I'm willing to pay for them based on their value, but usually I come out with some pretty good deals from this auction. Thanks for watching, and please, if you could, subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it. I'm trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers on my channel, and this really would help me out if you could do so. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a few days.